Hey guys, welcome back to another Unfiltered Gamer card game review. Today's game we have on the table is called Wicked Apples by Almost a Game. Wicked Apples is for 2 to 5 players, about 10 to 15 minutes to play, and it's for ages 12 and up. In Wicked Apples, it's pretty simple. You're trying to not eat the wicked apples that you have in front of you. Now, every single player has a wicked apple, as well as 4 other random apples that they're going to look at once they get the cards, place them down in front of them, and then either choose to pass along a card or look at a card face down. And after they've gone ahead and passed their card or looked at a card, they're going to eat one of the apples that are in front of them. Now, obviously, if you eat the wicked apple, you're going to be out of the game, so you need to avoid that. But also, if you eat an apple that is one of the regular apples, there's going to be some kind of a game effect that happens or occurs during the game in which you'll have to abide by the rules. Following from the lowest apple to the highest apple is how you're going to eat them, and those effects will occur in sequence. Afterwards, the next round occurs, and players will then again choose to look at an apple or pass an apple until everybody has been eliminated except for one player, and that player wins the game. Alright, let's go ahead and check out Wicked Apples, the card game. Alright guys, so here's the setup for Wicked Apples, and it's fairly simple. Every single player is going to get one of these buckets, and they're labeled from 1 to 5 with different colors, as well as a wicked apple that corresponds to the color of that bucket. So you'll take these buckets here, and you will shuffle them all up, like so, and then you'll distribute them again to all the different players, and give each and every player one of their apples that corresponds to the color. After you do so, then you will take the Wicked Apples deck and shuffle it up nice and good, and give every single player 3 other apples. From there, they'll shuffle their Wicked Apple in with the regular apples and look at all of their apples, and then place them face down in front of themselves on the table. Here with this guy, shuffle them all up, and then look at them, okay, and then place them down in front for each and every single bucket, each and every single player. Afterwards, so for instance, if we just have this one player right here to look at, he's got his apples, he's got his bucket. He'll then choose one of the 2 actions, which is simple. You can either pass an apple along, or you can look at an apple. Well, you should already know what apples are on the first turn, where they are, so you're going to probably want to pass an apple to another player. And after you do that, everybody else passes along, maybe somebody passes to him. He'll then choose to eat one of his apples, and he'll flip it up and do one of the actions said. If he gets that wicked apple, he's out of the game and has to give the rest of his apples away. And if not, if he doesn't pick that wicked apple, he'll pick the candy apple or some other kind of apple. He'll do whatever it says based on the turn order of how big or small the number is. This is 8, so it's a pretty small number. He's likely to do this first. And that's basically the idea of the game. So like I said, play continues from apple to apple, and you're passing or you're looking at apples, and you're eating apples and doing the abilities, and there's tons and tons of different apples in this deck of cards here. You've got a frozen apple, which you place this apple on uneaten apple. This apple can't be looked at until it's eaten. Seed apples, take the top apple from an unused apple deck, look at it, then place it uneaten in another player's pile. Or pie, where all players reveal an uneaten apple, and these apples are then shuffled back together and dealt out to the players, which kind of gives a little bit of randomness. Or curious apple, which is you secretly look at one uneaten apple of all players that have more uneaten apples than you. Beneficial. A golden apple, all apples' effects do not affect you for this turn. And so as you're eating these apples, they all have different numbers on them. 7, 19, 22, 17, 10, all the different apples have different numbers. And after the first round where everybody's eaten an apple, then the apples that have the lower numbers will determine who gets to go first. So if you have a 7 and I have a 9, you're going to go ahead and go first before me, and play will proceed clockwise like that. Or play will proceed from the lowest apple to the highest apple. As well as a lowest apple to highest apple effects will take place. And that's the idea of the game, eliminating your opponents, making them eat those unwanted, wicked apples, as well as eating all the good apples for yourself, followed by the lowest number. Another really interesting thing too is the sharing apple, and this apple initiates the sharing effect for all other apples in the game. And you'll see some of these apples have a sharing effect on them, like this crab apple here. At the top right hand corner, you're going to see a little sharing, little apple slices, and that means that after you do the ability, everybody else does the ability as well, which is a nice little interesting turn of events. But other than that, that's basically how you play this really short, nice little apple eating game, Wicked Apples by Almost a Game. Alright, so what do I think about Wicked Apples, the card game? In this little box, well, it's got tons and tons of fun in it. It is a 2 to 5 player game, and you can play 2, 3, 4, and 5, but the more players you play, the better. The rounds are very, very short. Like the box says, 10 to 15 minutes is the correct amount of time to play this game. It doesn't take any longer. And it doesn't take any less than 5 minutes for sure, unless everybody eats that wicked apple other than yourself. Then you get that little bonus of winning super early. And tons of cards in this game. This game has tons of artwork with all these different apples. Oh, I love them. I love all the different kinds of apples. And I love the idea of the game, this player elimination game that involves you kind of deciding your own fate. There are a couple little issues with it. The player who gets to go first is always going to get the benefit, so going first, passing along that apple is going to get a certain benefit, as well as going last. Because going last, if you have a wicked apple in front of you, and the player next to you doesn't have any apples, then you can pass it to them, and they have to eat it, and that means they're out of the game. So, there's a little turn issue, but the thing is, it makes up for it in ways of the lower apple costs being the person who gets to go first, which changes the order of the game, which is very, very beneficial and works to its advantage. The game Wicked Apples also has these little player aids that include the rules in just 3 simple cards. 4 if you want to include the basic Wicked Apples that shows you the different cards and how many players and all that. But it's very, very simple. And generally in games like this that involve cards as rules, they destroy me because I get so confused. But in reality, this one's really simple. You got 1, 2, 3 on this side, 4, 5, 6 on this side, helpful tips, and then how to end the game. That's all it is. Very simple to understand, very simple to set up. This game probably takes about 5 minutes to learn, and like 2 minutes to teach. Also, the bucket's a nice little variety of how to decide who goes first. It's not just who ate an apple last. It's actually based on these bucket numbers, which makes it fair and yet random. The Wicked Apples are all the same with all of the same number, so that works to its advantage as well. Players get to try and avoid these guys, and these guys will be a detriment to your gameplay. The apples themselves, with all their abilities, whether you're sharing apples, or you're passing apples, or you're playing hot potato with a certain apple, or you're freezing an apple so nobody can look at it until it's eaten. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Everything about this game is very enjoyable as a small micro game, and I definitely suggest checking it out. This game is great. I'm going to give it my stamp of approval for Unfiltered Gamer here. This game is currently available on their website, almostagame.com. So if you're interested in checking it out, I think it's about 15 bucks. You can go down there, click on it, and purchase it real quick. Wonderful game, definitely worth the money. Go ahead and check it out right now in the description below, and you can see their website and where to get the game. Alright guys, thanks for watching another Unfiltered Gamer Kickstarter card game review. If you like this review and like to see more, go ahead and check out the rest of the videos here on YouTube at Unfiltered Gamer, as well as checking out our website, unfilteredgamer.com, where you can find tons of blog posts, giveaways, and our big Kickstarter list. Also, if you like this kind of content and you'd like to see more blogs and other giveaways, you can check out our affiliates, which are everythingboardgames.com and thegiveawaygeek.com. Alright guys, that's it for this video, and we look forward to seeing you next time.